I am Stephanie Galvan Russell, and this is my training fulfillment and reflection on trainings for ISDT 7353 with Dr. LaPrairie. So here is my proof of training completions. Here are my completion screens for each course. In the top left here, I am just waiting for the final project to be graded and to have my badge sent to me for the virtual mentoring course. Below that is the VR course completion. In the top right is the blended learning course completion, and in the bottom right is our course that we used for microlearning. I went back and did that and evaluated it as well. So here are my 4 proof of training completions for each training put into our discussion. My topic for this project was microlearning, and I worked with Karina Quilantan Garza. Karina and I are good friends, and we already know that we work well together. We've worked together in the past on other projects, as well as on presentations, and we felt that working together in this project would be a great experience for each other because this was a semester-long project, and we had never worked on a project this long together before. And so this was a great experience for both of us to work on a long-term project together. We used Nearpod to create our training, and we did that because we wanted it to be meta, where we used a microlearning course to teach microlearning. And we used Nearpod because we wanted it to be accessible whether the learner was using it on a computer, which is what this screenshot in the middle is, or using it on their phone, which is what this screenshot is on the right. And we did that because microlearning is meant to be completed in under 15 minutes. 5 minutes is about the goal, but it's also meant to be able to be done mobily. So we wanted it to be on a program where the learner could use it no matter where they were. As far as the questions to think about, was our training effective? I believe yes, it was, because when we get our data back from Nearpod, every time a student completes our course, we get a report. And in our objectives, a lot of our goals were where the outcome of the student would be something that was 2 out of 3 or 3 out of 4. And that is the data that we are receiving. Every time that a student completes our training, we send them the report as well as their badge. And so we have seen through that data that our training was effective. In seeing my peers' training, something that I wish I had done differently was in the future, I think that I might possibly use Articulate Rise as a training method because I had never gotten to use that program before. And in getting to use it in the blended learning as well as the VR training, I thought that it was a really neat program to learn in. I really enjoyed it. And so I think I might try it out in the future. My only hindrance in that is that it is an very expensive tool to get. Something I would do differently in my own training is I would not change using Nearpod because it was a fabulous tool to use. But I would like to teach an actual full length, maybe half day, 3-hour course on microlearning because I feel that microlearning is going to become more and more necessary in our learning in the 4th Industrial Revolution. And I think we're going to see it a lot more because our learners are having to do things quickly, and people are having to learn things quickly to adapt not just to their jobs, but to the world. So I feel like I would like to teach a full-blown course on microlearning so that it could be really detailed and really explained how to teach using microlearning, not just what it is. So I think that would be a really great training to do. Factors that contributed to our success was definitely that Karina and I are good friends. It was also a hindrance that we're good friends because we found that we expected more of each other. And in doing so, we really had to level up our communication. And it was more conversations where we were saying, okay, did we understand the instructions? Let's talk about what the instructions really meant. Let's give each other time to reflect on it and think about if we have questions that the other can answer. Should we ask Dr. LaPrairie for feedback? And then it was really nice to really communicate as partners in saying, hey, when you do this, this is how it should look. This is what it should come out like. These are our goals. This is the big idea. And I think not just as friends and not just as partners, but as humans, really getting to hone and practice that communication skill in this project where we know that we're working on something together and we're not trying to hurt each other. We're genuinely coming from a place of love and learning and saying, hey, as a partner, this is what I expect from you. I think that that was a great opportunity for us. And I think working with someone who knows me as well as Karina does, and I know her well, it was easy to be open with each other and appreciate the fact that we know each other and we can say, hey, I understand you have this going on. Can we work on this, for a little bit later today? Or can we talk about this? So it was great to have that together. As far as the design and content, I had never used Nearpod before, and so the design of the course really surprised me. I have only used Nearpod, which is similar to, I've only ever used Pear Deck, which is similar to Nearpod, but I found that Nearpod just has so many more resources, from being able to incorporate games to having people be able to upload their artifacts. Those were some things that I had never gotten to use before, and I think that was a great opportunity for me to learn while we were building this course. And as far as content for our project, I think that our content was spot on because, again, microlearning is meant to be finished quickly. And so we found articles and videos, infographics, and I created a podcast that could be listened to or read or seen quickly and on the go. And we found them specifically based on how long it would be to complete them so that the learner wasn't wasting time, but they were still getting the content that they needed. I went back and I used the rubric from the book on page 202 to 203, the expert peer review of instruction, and I actually went back and reviewed our course in Nearpod using this rubric, and I actually learned a lot. I went in as if I knew nothing about microlearning, and not just as someone who went in to review and prepare this project, but I pretended I knew nothing about it. And I actually got a lot out of it. So I think that our content and our design was really great. Overall, I really enjoyed this project. I really appreciated that we got to work on this all semester. I wish that we had had a little more time in between chunks of the assignment so that we could have really cleaned up details. I noticed a lot of our feedback was about specifications, and I really think that if we had had more time between that, we could have cleaned up our plan and our training. But in the finalization of the training and while people are completing the training, I feel that those specifications are coming out. So overall, I thought that we did a great job and I really enjoyed this project. And I hope that we get to work on more projects like this in the future. And while it is not required, I am going through the rubric and evaluating the peer trainings again, because the first time I went through it as if to learn something, and now I'm going to go through them again to review them. And I will be offering peer feedback because I hope that I also receive feedback from my peers so that we can continue to learn and grow together. So that is my reflection, and I hope that you enjoyed it. Have a great day. Bye.